Hey, I don't think we can craft today. We're just going to drink today. I've hit that level. I'm going to wait for you guys to come on here today. See if you are where I am in all of this. I hope not. I hope you're doing better than I am today. I swear to goodness, it's like, I think it's the wind. Yes, it is the pandemic. Yes, it is that we're all on top of each other. Yes, it is that our body clocks are all kind of screwed up. But I went outside today to check on things, and the wind had blown everything. And it just felt so disruptive. And I felt myself being really, really mad about the wind because it was not letting me put things where I needed them to be. I wanted to go out and do a live today. This morning, I was going to do one to give you guys an update on how things went with the painting the cushions. And I got everything set up, and then this huge gust of wind came and knocked everything over. Luckily, it didn't spill all the paint. And I was like, that's okay. It's okay. It's a nice windy day. It's okay. And then I set it all down again, then whoosh. And I was like, God damn it! Ah! And like, that was what tipped me over the edge. What's tipping you guys over the edge? Like, for me, it was wind. Then it was dishes in the sink. So my husband came in. He's like, what should we do for dinner? I'm like, we're not doing dinner. There will be no dinner. You can have cheese and crackers. That's all anyone's allowed. They're allowed to come into the kitchen and slice a piece of cheese and grab a cracker. But no one's cooking in my kitchen until they earn the right to be in my kitchen. That's it. Mic drop. We're done. You're not allowed in my kitchen anymore. Because if you can't wash a dish with soap and water and have the sponge touch the glass, like, this is my 18-year-old. Like, here, I went to go get this glass so that I could pour a big, strong thing of bourbon because that's what I needed. And this is how I find him washing it. So let's pretend this is, that was cornstarch. Let's pretend this is the sponge and this is the glass. It's not touching. It's not touching. What's happening? What's happening? Let me know if you guys are on there, you guys. I'm not seeing comments yet. You probably all got scared off because I was ranting and raving. Just ranting, really, no raving. Let me just make sure that we are good. We are gonna have some fun today. We are gonna craft today. I'm not gonna let you guys down. I'm not gonna let you down, but I am gonna go on here and make sure that all is well. So I wrote on my personal page yesterday, it is Wednesday. It's Wednesday. You're welcome. That's it. I put it on there. But I forget that when Facebook sees traction on something and people were laughing. Oh, Melissa. Hey, Betty. Oh, good. We're on. I forgot, you guys, I put a post on, you haven't missed anything. I've just been talking about being angry and drunk. Don't worry. Go back and watch the replay. I'm just going off. So I put on, it's Wednesday. Melissa, you saw it. And evidently, when Facebook sees, oh, you're popular, people think you're funny, we're going to just share that. They keep sharing it day after day. So this poor friend, a follower, got on here, I guess, this morning, and it said, it's Wednesday. And so she missed her meeting. My husband said, if that was her only source of information, you do not need to feel guilty. But I still felt bad. So, and then I was like, well, if I do another one that says it's Thursday, that one's going to go to the next day. And then I'm just going to have all these days that are all mixed up. So I just went and edited the first one. And I was like, well, but then I wrote edited, it's Thursday. I wrote it's Thursday. But then I thought, if someone sees that I posted it yesterday, they're going to think it's Friday. I mean, my God, you guys. Yeah. I was doing like Diet Coke with a splash of bourbon. Like, just take that and flip it for today. Okay? So I'm good. I've lost it today, but I'm good. All right. So part of what we're going to do today is we're going to go work on the dresser. So this is what's fun about doing the lives with me every day is you actually get a sense of how I work because there's always something stopping me from finishing up that last project, right? I think you guys are the same way. So I wanted to go finish up the cushions today, but it's too windy and everything keeps blowing away. I wanted to go finish up the dresser today, but there's a piece that needs to stay glued in place because it was getting wonky and it's not done yet. So I'm like, all right, switch gears again. What are we going to do today? So then I thought what would be fun is I have this little cigar humidor cabinet that we're going to paint today. And I thought, oh, let's paint that today. Let's just paint. Let's just not be complicated. Then I thought, I want to do something fun with it. And I was thinking I wanted to use some molds today because I haven't used those in a while. And I thought, oh, today's the day I'm going to use my Alumilite clear Illuminite clear casting resin. Oh, I know, Betty. As soon as I set my stuff out today, we had a thunderstorm. I mean, I was just like, really? Really? Enough? I just wanted, my one kind of peaceful, joyful is like going on my driveway, which is black tar, whatever, ugly, but it absorbs the heat. And I'm a Southern girl at heart. And so I really like to feel the sun on me. I like to bake. I like to bake like an amphibious creature. I like to just lie in the sun on hot things. So my hot tub's hasn't worked in 6 months. I've taken so many baths. Like there's just a way in which I have trouble getting warm. And so I like to just lie on my black pavement in my driveway read or look on my phone, like neighbors go by and I'm like, whatever, I'm good because it's so hot. And then I get hot and then I can come inside and then I feel warm. I know, nuts. So I was like, oh, let's use the Alumilite clear casting resin because I got the kind that cures in 10 minutes. We're going to do this on the live. I ordered like 5 of these. I had them for sale at the store. I went to go get it today and I'm like, what do you mean freaking cure 24 hours? Who the hell are you? I ordered the 5-minute. I know I ordered the 5. I don't care if we are in a lockdown. I'm not waiting 24 hours for resin. I am not going to do it. And neither are you. Neither are you. Oh, Chris, I saw your post today. You looked lovely in that. You look so pretty. And I feel ya. Yeah, it's all we can do. And I'm having long talks with my son too about what can he do? Like, I don't want to push him to do anything, but I know what low-level depression feels like, and I know what generalized anxiety disorder feels like. And I've been medicated for both throughout my life. And so I know that when you just want to sleep 1 more hour and you just maybe want to go to bed at 7:30 at night because that feels normal. But then when you get up at 7:30 in the morning and you've already slept for 12 hours, but you just want 1 more hour of sleep just to top it off, you're not good. That's not good. You're in a cycle of perpetual, you will reach the point where you don't get out of bed. Doesn't happen. And so I'm worried about that with my big guy. I think he's getting up, but we had a long talk today. He likes to drive. So anytime I need to go anywhere over to the studio or to get anything, like the only place I go is the studio and my store to pick up more supplies. I have him drive me so we can talk in the car. And I'm hoping, like I'm trying to talk him into doing some gardening or something. Anything that doesn't feel like a burden. I was like, look, there's nothing right now that you're going to feel excited about. Honestly, when we're all in this state, you just have to start doing and then you will start feeling. Does that make sense? If you guys are like waking up going, I want to paint some flowers today, that would feel good. I am so freaking happy for you because your brain is still working. Mine, it's not working like that. Even your crazy ass craft coach is not working like that. It's more, what am I going to do? Because once I start doing it, then I will feel better. The chicken did not come before the egg. The cart is before the horse. It's behind the horse. It is way back there. The cart's way up here. The horse is way here. So if you are there, you are fine. You are normal. I am with you. We just have to start doing and then we will start feeling. Okay? So I just started doing and I did. I started feeling better and I'm drinking. Okay. All right. So what I decided to do was, if I can't do this casting resin today, I'm gonna go back over my trick that I have showed some of you before with the hot glue. Yeah, depressing weather does not help. And I find wind to be depressing. I feel it like, that's what I was talking about before you guys jumped on. I just feel it kind of aggressive. It's kind of like slapping me, like it's hitting me and it's knocking everything. And I'm like, everybody stop coming at me, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to play. I grabbed some molds. And if you guys have any of these molds, or if you don't, I can ship them to you. I can still ship you, and I still have plenty, and I just put in an order with IOD. So on my table right here, I've got some cornstarch, okay? And we're just gonna dust, our pieces. I have my other camera set up differently. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna dust these, okay? That's just a really good idea. If you don't have the cornstarch, don't stress it. Don't freak out. You'll be fine. But I'm going to get a little board to put on that, I think. Oh, actually, here. We have a cushion. I'll put a cushion right there so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to tilt down for this portion of our show, okay? And here we go. So the trick to this is I'm just going to do a couple little more leaves because I just want a couple little leaves here, okay? So the trick is just turn your hot glue gun on, kids. That's really all you need to do. Hopefully you have one of these, or you can order, you know, we can still order. Thank goodness we can still order things. They're taking a little longer these days, but you can still get it. And what happens is you end up with these nice bendy pieces. Nice bendy pieces. Oh, thank you for sharing, Betty. I certainly appreciate that. Thank you guys who were over on YouTube with me. I don't know why we got kicked off YouTube yesterday. I appealed their decision to kick me off that. It was only that one live. It wasn't like they kicked me off forever and ever. Actually, I think I'm going to do, no, I'm going to do like that flower, right? Oh, no. Actually, I decided that I needed another leaf. So I'm actually going to do this one. It's already done. So the trick to doing this, can you guys see me okay? Is it close enough for you to see what I'm doing? You want to fill up your, let me see if I can zoom in anymore. Oh, yeah, I can. You want to go, oh, that's perfect. Okay. You want to fill up, but you don't want to overfill, because if you overfill, you're going to have a dome and then it's not going to lay flat on your piece. So it's better to underfill than overfill. Okay. So wait till it gets nice and hot. You can you can push this down actually while you go, and start at one end and go to the other. Don't try to do a layer and then come back, because by the time you come back, it will have hardened. Okay, it will have hardened. So you just want to kind of get in all these crevices. And it's not the end of the world if it goes too far over. You're just going to need to get a razor blade probably to get it to lie flat again. So I'm just pushing that in, and it will turn opaque, okay? And if you did miss a few edges, you can kind of go back in, fill those out. So if you don't have resin, or you don't want, or you bought the wrong resin, you can also use the paper clay, obviously. We just ordered some of that as well. I like the clays. I prefer either resin or glue. All right, so now I'm just gonna kind of slap its butt a little bit here, try to get it to just settle in place. Yeah, that's pretty good. I missed a couple little edges there. Because I find the clays to be more brittle than I prefer for what I'm usually doing. That's just me. But no, it doesn't make them bumpy or textured at all. Melissa, it was full of holes. Oh, you just needed to put more in, love. You just needed to put more. You probably just didn't put enough. I've definitely done it where I've got that. But like everything, you just need to practice it. Let me see if I can find some. I did some the other day that had some holes in it too. Let me see where that one was. Also, all right, so I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to show you. Oh my goodness! Hello, Malibu Christy. How are you, sweetie? Good to see your face on my screen. All right, so the next step is once you demold these, is you're going to have all these little pieces kind of hanging off the edge like that. So I just clean them up a little bit. It doesn't actually matter that much because you're going to put the glue down and it may not even make that big a difference. Okay. So I try to cut off all the little pieces though that are hanging off. Is the resin flexible? The epoxy, so if you use real 2-part epoxy resin, it is malleable for a bit, but it will not stay that way. So once you demold it, you kind of have to look and see which kind you're using. Now, from what I understand, if you take the Alumilite resin, actually any resin, and you put it into a bowl of warm water, you can get it bendy again. Okay? Now, with these glue ones, they are awesome because they stay bendy. They're always going to be bendy. All right, these are a few weeks old, but they stay bendy. And I like that because I want to be able to mush them and play with them that way. So basically, this is what I got. It's the right brand, but it's the wrong one. This is Alumilite. It's the casting mold, but I meant to get the one that cures in like 15 minutes and it turns clear. All right, but yes, you can use, the problem with I find I like to have a lot to play with, so sometimes I'll just sit here and I'll make a bunch, so I have them whenever I need them. And the problem with doing the paper ones is just going to be that once they dry, and then and there's no reconstituting them or bringing them back. Okay, so y'all getting the hang of this? So this, if you do it with the glue, and the glue is pretty cheap, and you don't need that much. Okay, so now we've got these little pieces. So I wonder if we can. I have my other camera here. So what I want to talk to you a little bit about today too. Oh, here it is. So this one, Melissa, that one didn't have the hole. I mean, that one, right? But I'm not too worried about it. And I can always go back in and fill it in if I want. So the look that I am, let me see if I can, yeah, okay, good. I can kind of zoom in and out. Y'all got your cocktail? It's past 5. We're allowed to have it now. I'm not gin and tonic out, but we definitely need a new alcohol of choice around the house because I can only consume so many gin and tonics. I mean, I think I can. I could push it. I could try for more. So yeah, the resin. So I think I answered the resin. So I've got this cute little cigar case here that I thought it would be fun to play with today. Oh no, is that the one I made? Yeah, that is the one I made. And I want to talk to you a little bit today about kind of composition. Oh, I wish this was no, it's not Jack Daniels, it's Bullet. Bullet, Bulleit. I had a bunch for our Derby Day party, which is not going to happen. So I'm just going to have to drink it. So let's talk about composition a little bit with what we want to do. So I was inspired by my friend Joni Segaris at Vintage Tide Decor. Many of you follow her. I know she is a hoot. And my overall look for this piece is that I'm going to paint it a dark color. I'm going to paint it this really dark green. It says charcoal, but it's very dark green charcoal by Miss Lillian's. And I'm going to start dark and then build up to light instead of the reverse. She did a couple pieces that way and I thought they were stunning. And so I just want to give her a shout out that that's where I saw that done instead of painting it a color and then going in with antiquing glaze or dust, kind of going the opposite direction. It just gave it a lot of depth. So that's what I want to do. I want to get these down, do the whole piece really dark, and then use blues and patinas to really build it up so it looks kind of, I'm not sure if I'm going to do a patina shiny, but I definitely kind of want that like aged verdigris kind of look is what I'm thinking. Ah, yeah, man. All right. You couldn't get the glue to work? It was getting hard and lumpy and looking terrible. Heather, I'm guessing... okay, so here's the wrong way to do it. And maybe it could be that you were doing it the wrong way. I don't know. But if you have to stay in one area and go across. Like if you were kind of going back and forth and then trying to fill in all the areas, what happens is the glue hardens, it cures, it dries, it cools. Oh, there's the word I'm looking for. It cools very quickly. So it's almost like you need to stay in this area and imagine that you're in this hot zone and fill your hot zone and then keep moving. If you go, like if I were to go here and to go around and around and around, it's not really good. It's best if I kind of stay in a little area. And then as I'm putting the hot glue down, it's actually heating up the area right next to it. So I end up with a fluidity. Okay, see if that works for you. Try that. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is talk about, so that's my goal for this piece. Let me see if the other camera is better for this or not. I'm not sure. 6 of one. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Let me see here. If that. All right, so we've got these pieces, and I think that in general, sometimes what I see is you've got to think of the focal point of your piece and how much you're using and making these go together. I've seen pieces like Debbie's Design Diary where she had like the whole thing done. And I've also seen where people have just put like one thing here, like just on the corner. Yeah, definitely try it again, Heather, and let me know if I can help you with anything. And so I think what I want to do is think about the composition of your piece and how much of a focal point do you want to make? Because sometimes I feel like on a giant piece of furniture, having something just little in all the corners just isn't going to show up. But I've also seen pieces that are really small with kind of giant molds on them. So I guess I don't really have a ratio for you. I just want you to think about it. I just want you to think about it as you're putting it together, what look you're going for, and are you going for uniform? Are you going for random? Like this would just like be random. I don't think that would look very good. My goal in this piece was to make kind of a bouquet. So the first thing I want to do is just make sure all my pieces are kind of cleaned off a bit. And I also want to make sure they're kind of flat. Okay. And then, so see this one I did a long time ago. It's a little bumpy too. I don't have my razor blades here, but if I did, I could kind of shave that off, and that's what I would do. So for this one, I just had this idea that the flower, it would be like someone's holding a bouquet, and the flowers kind of falling over. And so you also want to get kind of these little pieces off. So I started putting this together just to see if I had all the pieces that I would need. And so let's pretend, I kind of want this to be almost all the way, at least 50% of my space. So the first thing I did was start with the flowers themselves and kind of getting them to nestle in each other and making sure that I like that. So I'm kind of arranging them. Can you guys see that okay? Almost like a little puzzle piece there. So like if those are the flowers. So imagine you were painting some flowers or you're doing a transfer of some flowers. Like how would that look? So I kind of am thinking that this little line, let me see if I can get you guys up closer. There we go. Actually, I didn't know my camera would do that. Excuse me, dog. Excuse me, doggy. Let's see if I can get, yeah, there we go. Let me see if I can do that even better. Okay. All right, so let's kind of nestle that in there. And then I'm thinking these little twigs, like if we were painting an image, we'd kind of have that kind of nestled in there maybe. Is that, y'all with me on that? No crazy questions. Oh, heck yeah, Chris. Yeah, I've been on all kinds of pages looking for more molds. So yeah, you definitely could do that. Use the cornstarch or a mold or resin release, and you should be fine. And so I'm thinking like kind of playing around and nestling these in here. How's that looking? So it's starting to look like it's balanced. All right, let me show you this. So this one is drying, but I think, let's see if it'll pull up. See, when I bend it, can you see? It turns white. It's kind of cool. So that's the one we just did. Let's see if it'll pull out. Yeah, man, that worked great. I decided I wanted more greenery. So we're gonna just go around these edges here. Kind of pull off. And I thought, if that one's kind of going up that way, I actually was thinking maybe this one would kind of curl up this way maybe. And I might be able to bend them a little, I'm not sure. And then, so I'm doing it kind of the way I do. And I do a painting, like, all right, where should a leaf go? And then if they're kind of like, I don't want this to look like it's just sticking out of here. So once I decide I definitely like that, I'm going to cut it. I'm going to kind of cut it at a little bit of an angle there. That's the other beauty of the glue. Just get some scissors and you can cut it how you want it. And now, now it's kind of nestled in there more, right? So it looks more like they're meant to go together. I hope that makes sense. So how are you guys faring this week? How are you, those of you who are stuck at home with family, are you letting them in your kitchen, or have you decided that your family's no longer allowed in your kitchen either? I'm gonna kick you all out. There we go. So I'm just kind of narrowing these little stems so they become a little less noticeable. The other thing I could do is, once I get this glued down, is to fill in with some glue. Kind of make it all look like one piece. I might do that when we get it all in there. Sorry. Awkward angle. Okay. So I'm starting to dig that. All those are kind of fitting together. And it's, you know, it's going to look a lot better when it's painted and we're camouflaging a little bit more. But I found it difficult to start putting all these together. So these are like 3 different molds almost. You know, it's not as intuitive as you might want it to be. So the next thing I'm going to do, oh yeah, oh, the bird mold. God, I wish I'd kept one. I don't think I have one. I ordered some more, but I think I got, yes, I did. I ordered bird song. So I'm facing the other way because I want to look from above, because I'm looking at this upside down and I want to make sure that I like the composition, which I think I do. And then that goes up there. So I feel like that feels good. That's about where I want it. I can always add a little more. I might add another little branch in there. See what I mean? How that one's kind of sticking out, like I prefer it like that. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just take this one. Look at that. Look at me go. I'm just going to take that off. And then that way I can kind of nestle it next to that. So you're basically kind of doing a little puzzle piece. But that feels good to me. I like that. And then the only other thing I might do, I don't know if I would do this or not. Would I do this? Would I take a little flower? Hold on, actually I like that better. You know why? Because that is like a bud that hasn't opened yet. That feels better to me. And I don't know, if I would actually build it up and do one more on top. Oh, you guys, I think I might. I think I need like a small one though. Let me see where my molds are. I think I'd need, if I'm gonna build it and fill in that spot right there, I need a smaller version of a flower that would work. I feel, where's that other mold? This is what's happening to me all day. Like I'm just losing things. Take the stem off of this one. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna cover it actually. I think that's what I wanna do. I'm trying to see if I have one here that I didn't use. So what if I took the stem off of this one, and once these were glued in place, I feel like it needs to be bigger. The stem off the first one. Oh, I lost you, hun. I lost you. All right, I'm gonna make one more right now of this size. It's not too big and it's not too small. Sorry, you guys are lagging behind me a little bit, so I'm probably I'm getting your feedback too late. But do you see how I'm just kind of staying in one area here? I'm not going all over, and I'm really filling it. I'm just letting it get really, really goopy. I'm trying not to overfill it. There we go. And then if you're worried about it not getting in all the spaces, I'm just going to kind of move it around, pat it on the bottom a little bit, and try to get it to really flatten out, even letting it, like flopping it on a table. All right, so no matter which one we do, I think we're good to put these down. So the best thing, I did do this once with using the hot glue, because I thought that's brilliant. I'll just use the hot glue. That wasn't brilliant. That was dumb. Because the hot glue didn't stick. It melted the back of these, which wasn't a bad thing, but then it also didn't actually stick. So I'm glad I'm off camera right now, because you guys can't see that I'm putting my mouth all over the top of my glue container completely. All right, so now I'm just going to pick up one at a time, and I'm going to make sure I get those edges. That's the key. Okay. We want it to press down and get those edges. Push that back down. Hope we got it where we were. Kind of, sorta, and press. And if you, there we go. It's because this stuff sticks really fast. Then you can use a popsicle stick, or even a, you know what would work really well? Not a brush, a Q-tip, but I'm going to use a brush because that's what I have. Anyway, so kind of hold that in place a little bit. Make sure that goes down. And then I'm just going to go in a circle, glue these down. So let me tell you guys about how the cushions worked out. We've got positives and negatives in the whole experience. I think basically I would consider it a win. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that and I'm going to flip it like that. And that way I know exactly where it goes. Here's what I didn't do last night was check the weather. So I got all the ink on. They looked so good. I left them out in the sun. I went and hung out in the hammock for a little bit. just enjoying my little evening. I went and I had dinner, and then, are y'all aware of what I'm about to say next? Woke up this morning and noticed that it had poured. And so my pieces had gotten all wet. But they were okay. What I learned, and hopefully we can, if it stops, we'll do something tomorrow. Whether it's the dresser or maybe we'll go back and we'll finish those up. But here's what we learned. The Debbies did not. Well, first of all, let's just preface this by saying that normally after just having, I'm just pressing these down and getting the excess glue off at the same time. And these will slide a little bit, but I'm also probably going to put a book or something on there so it holds it steady. None of these were meant to be rained on. I mean, I at least wanted to let all of the ink and the paint dry for 24 hours, for goodness sakes. But it was a good test because it got rained on immediately. I could see that the Miss Lillian's, oh, I like that because that's kind of pushing that in for me. The Miss Lillian's was not affected in the least. That stuff was on to stay. Okay, so it looks great. The Dixie Belle did not fare as well. The purple definitely faded more, even though it was the most intense color. And I think the only one I ended up using from Debbie's was the Mermaid Tail. And that fared, that one was the worst. So this morning when I went down and it was still wet, like I wiped my hand over and the only thing that came off on my hand was Mermaid Tail. Now, it's not a fair test because we knew that would happen. But, you know, it was nice to know that the others really were fine. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to redo the cushions. I'm going to go over where they faded because of being rained on, but just with Miss Lillian's this time because I think that's our clear winner on that. All right, so I'm going to go over here and push it down and make sure I've got these where I want them to be because I'm doing it upside down and backwards for you. There we go. Kind of want to fill these in here. And I'm pushing them closer together too. Yeah. I actually really like that. And we can let these dry. Now I know that looks terrible right now. Yes, Sherry. Oh, I'm using wood glue. Wood glue, Sherry. And I'm just patting it around the edges to give a little texture with the glue because I put a lot on. And because I wanted to make sure that they stayed down, but that also ended up, of course, kind of seeping around the edges a fair amount. But that's kind of what I do, and then I'll rinse out my brush real fast. Or I'll forget about it for a week and then go, damn it! So that little piece is coming up. So I'm going to put some directly down. These little ones. Okay. Let's check on our other mold. So I like that. Do you guys like that? And that was cheap, and hopefully you guys all have at least or can get a hold of a hot glue gun. Okay, there we go. All right. That one's not quite, well, I think we could risk it. You see, if it turns white, it means I can probably lift it up. Nope, in the center, it's still a little gooey. That's all right. So we're going to get that to stay. How are we doing on time? We're doing all right. So I think what I'm going to do, kiddos, is, of course, is put something down on this. Oh, here, there. Well done. Well done. So, okay. I was saying at the beginning of this little old live of ours that you're getting more than just a behind the scenes of what I'm doing, but kind of how I work, which is cyclically. So even if I were in my studio, I have a dresser that I'm doing here. I have some resin I'm doing here. I might have some jewelry I'm doing here. And so don't beat yourself up about that if you're not starting one thing and finishing it. Sometimes it's best to take a break from it so you don't kind of micromanage it or try too hard to make it just right. Like stepping away from it can be kind of good. And then you kind of get excited about coming back to it. There's, when you're working on a project, if you feel any kind of trepidation towards going back to it, you might not be ready, because it might not be working the way you want it to, or the colors aren't blending quite right, and it might be best to stay away instead of trying to fix it. I know that's hard. That's our tendency. And then what happens is if we do try to fix it, and we actually fix it, we think that was the right answer. So it's kind of hard to figure out. But I find that working on multiple projects, so I've got a project here in the dining room. I got a project on the porch. I now have a project in the yard. I've taken over this entire house with all my projects. And I know not all of you have that luxury, but even if you have one room where you can have one thing set up in one corner and one thing on another corner, it'll stop you from kind of obsessing about that one thing that you want to fix and just move on to something else. And if you have another project to move on to, that's best. Or a Netflix series, whichever works. We're in Project Runway season 11. We're back up to where I actually remember the seasons, but I still don't remember who won. I can watch the whole thing. It'll be at the very last minute of the very last episode, and I'll remember as they announce the winner that was the winner. It's like me in Law & Order. Unfinished projects, yes. It's like me in Law & Order. I can watch any Law & Order episode ever and not remember how it ended, and so I can keep rewatching it. It's brilliant. It's awesome the way my mind is Swiss cheese sometimes because I get pure enjoyment over and over and over again. Isn't that great? So one thing I want to mention here, and please do share this, is I have been getting a fair amount of calls, emails, text messages, what have you, from people who are having to switch gears right now, like put all their stuff online, set up a Shopify website. They want to start on YouTube. They want to learn how they can reinvent their business right now. They have no idea which social media platform will work for them. They just want some advice on setting up a business for when this is all over. I have done all of these things so many times. I have invented and reinvented and invented and reinvented and gotten closer and closer and closer to what works for me, and then have the rug pulled out from under me and had to start over again. And where all that stuff comes in handy is when I need to make a decision and figure out a better path. I have a wealth of experience to know what road not to go down again, or at least again a fifth time. So I'm going to hang out my shingle a little bit. So before all this started, I was doing doctor's hours at the store where you could come in and ask me anything you wanted, usually about DIY or painting. Since we are not in the store, I'm going to open that up. So I'm just putting it out there. I'm not making this a formal new business or anything like that. I just kind of want to see. I want to formalize it a little bit more than random messages here and there. But if you guys are interested or know someone who would be interested in, a half hour or an hour of my time as the crazy ass craft coach, even if there's something you want to paint and you want to get on a Zoom call with me and you want me to be there with you for the first, we could even break it apart. Like we'll do a half hour here and a half hour later. And you can show me what's happening. Like, Sue, why is this happening? Or how do I get this to do that? I want to help you. So if I can help you virtually or online, I'm going to give it a shot. So if there is something you want me to paint with you, do with you, resin with you, arts and crafts with you, and we can do it on Zoom, let's do it. Or if you are a business person or not a business person, a crafter or anybody, even if you've lost your job and you're thinking, you know, I used to really be good at blank. I wonder if I could turn that into a business right now. I've done a lot of classes in this. And so I think for now, since I can't do the classes, I'm just going to do some one-on-one. So let me know. Just message me, DM me, PM me, email me, call me, send me something. Or feel free to pass on if you're talking to someone, a friend who's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to go back to that job. I realize I didn't want that job, but I have no idea where to start. They might start with me. I might be able to help. Okay. So I think that's it. Yes. Wood glue. Hot glue molds will soften in heat. Betty, sure. I mean, if you're to leave it on your porch in Texas in August, I could see that happening. But I mean, hot glue is meant to, I mean, it doesn't need to be refrigerated. So it is going to become a solid again. So I'm not too worried about that. I will say during my class when we were using the hairdryer to dry the paint, we melted some of the molds. So yeah, that can happen. So here's what I'm going to do. Thanks, Melissa. No, I'm happy to help. I haven't come up with anything that needs a little more glue. Anything too solid. I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm thinking. PM me and we'll come up with something that's reasonable, affordable, and makes us both happy. Because I spent like an hour on the phone with a fellow DIY retailer the other day, answering all her questions about YouTube and getting started. And I was like, oh my God, that was so fun. I loved having the answers. I loved knowing enough to give a good answer. That makes me feel good. And so I'm happy to share. All right. So tomorrow, yeah, maybe not keep them in the sun, but I don't know that I don't think I'd stress it, Betty. I don't think I'd stress about being in the sun. So tomorrow, it will Russian roulette. I don't know what we'll do. It's my birthday tomorrow, so I'm told. I don't remember what day or whatever. So we'll do something fun. Whether it depends on the weather. We will either go over and work on that dresser together. We will either work on this together if the weather's bad and we can do this and we can really do some layers. That might be really fun. Or we'll go work on the cushions and finish that up. So whatever it is, grab a cocktail. Come to my office, come to Dr. Sue, the Crazy Ass Craft Coach office, and let's just relax together and shoot the shit, make some art, and tell each other it's all going to be okay. Because it will. It will be different, but it'll all be okay. All right? Love you guys. Thank you so much for sharing. That really helps me. And happy crafting.